And Arvind Gupta, former Deputy National Security Advisor of India, joins us on DD India News Hour. Mr. Arvind also is Director at the Vivekanand International Foundation, a think tank based in New Delhi. Welcome, sir. In your opinion, is the Iran-Israel ceasefire likely to hold? If not, why?
I think it will hold. The ceasefire has been a result of both sides engaging with each other in a deadly exchange of rockets and missiles. And I think both wanted the ceasefire, and Trump played a role. And of course, the ceasefires are always tenuous, and there could be some violations now and then. But overall, I think it's likely to hold, and the region has returned to less tensions than it would have led to a wider conflagration. And both sides have agreed for the ceasefire, so that's why it might.
Okay, what do you think were the military and political calculations that made both Israel and, more importantly, Iran agree to a ceasefire?
My own understanding is that Israel perhaps overreached. It launched attacks, and it could not sustain for too long. And when it realized that it required the US help to damage the sites which are deep underground, it asked the US to help. So that is the first sign of weakness, that you could not do it alone. And when the conflict stretched on for 10 days or so, Israel started feeling the heat, and the Israel's own interceptors, probably they were running out of the interceptors, and the Israeli and Iranian missiles started reaching and doing quite considerable damage to a small country like Israel. So Israel found itself in a situation where it had reached. So it would probably would have agreed to a kind of a ceasefire. On the other hand, Iran held on. The initial strikes were very heavy. A lot of people were killed, top scientists were killed, top military leadership was wiped out, but Iran showed resilience and it held on. It absorbed the initial damages and bombs and rockets and missiles, and in turn also launched strikes which harmed Israel. And Iran, being a much larger country and also have a history of taking and absorbing a lot of punishment, as it did in the 1980s. So it held on. There was no resistance to Khamenei, and the whole country got united. And the damage to the nuclear sites was there, but perhaps not to the extent that Israel had thought. So Iran, in this war of attrition, perhaps Iran fared better. And then I think they also, of course, suffered a lot of damage, and they were not averse to a off-ramp, as they call it. And both sides agreed for a ceasefire.
Okay. Would the just-ended Iran-Israel conflict in any way have eroded the authority of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei?
It doesn't look like. Because, as I said, Iran held out. It showed resilience. And whatever damage the top leadership of the Iranian military and IRGC and the nuclear establishment was wiped out, but they were able to replace it very quickly. So on the whole, I think Khamenei has emerged stronger, and now they are claiming victory, and they are saying that their attack on the US base in Qatar, which is also the forward headquarters of CENTCOM, that showed that Iran's resolve, and Iran is now giving out a narrative that it was a resolute response by Iran which made Israel and its supporters sue for peace. So I think Khamenei has emerged stronger.
How far has the Iran-Israel conflict weakened Iran militarily, in your view?
Well, obviously, they have suffered quite a lot of damage. But in a war that happens, and they will start rebuilding it.
Okay. And what role has the United States of America played in helping Israel achieve its goals in its conflict with Iran?
Well, Israel's goals were to destroy the nuclear facilities of Iran. And President Trump claimed that using the B-2 bombers and the MOP ordnance, those bombs, they totally obliterated the sites. So they can claim that they have damaged the nuclear sites. But now I think many assessments are coming out that the damage was perhaps minimal. And the Iranians had probably already cleared out those sites from the enriched uranium, etc. So the damage probably is limited and not irretrievable. And perhaps Iran will restart their program, if not now, maybe after some delay.
Okay, would you say, Mr. Gupta, that the world is a safer place today than it was before the Israel-Iran conflict?
Yes, I think somewhat safer. Because if, let us for a moment assume that Iran had attacked the US bases, more US bases, and the US had retaliated, then Iran would not have been able to take the military might of the US, and US would have got involved. US decided not to get involved and broker a ceasefire. And I think the tensions have come down. And today we are certainly much safer.
Is Iran likely to sit on its hands, so to speak, after the ceasefire? Or will it look at unconventional ways to hit back at those that have recently attacked it?
I think Iran will certainly review its policies. I think the first priority would be to rebuild the civilian areas that have been damaged, rebuild the facilities that have been damaged, and attend to basically the task of reconstruction and rebuilding. So that will be their first priority. The second possibility could be that there could be restart of diplomacy insofar as the nuclear program is concerned. Whether we would see a restart of negotiations between Iran and the US, that could be a possibility, though it's not very clear when will that happen, if that happens at all. And the third thing that they would do then is to take stock of who was with them, who was not with them, what are the new equations which now will be reinforced in the Middle East, and also the state of their proxies, etc. But I think I feel that they will perhaps restrain those proxies insofar as attacking the US is concerned, because I don't think Iran wants to provoke the US in any military conflict. But yes, these proxies probably will be also rebuilt, and they are not going to give them up altogether.
And your views on a possible regime change in Iran?
Unlikely.
Unlikely. Okay. We'll end this discussion on that note. Yes, for now, a fragile ceasefire holds. Next few 24 hours are definitely crucial to see that this ceasefire holds or not. Thank you very much, Arvind Gupta, for being with us and giving us your analysis on the story.